Well, this is exciting. We have literally hundreds of people joining by the minute, and many more are going to come in the next few minutes. So just a big welcome to everyone. My name is Emily. I'm on the Run for Something team. I'm joined by many of my colleagues who you're going to hear from tonight. And like I said, if you're here for the launch of our new candidate support program, you are in the right place. We are so excited you're here. You're joining hundreds of young people from across the country who are ready to explore or prepare a run for office. And tonight is the official launch of our new candidate support program. So you all here tonight are the first to step into this. And like I said, while we wait to get started, please introduce yourself in the chat. Take a minute to reflect on what is motivating you to be here tonight. Share your name, where you're joining from, and a quick sentence about why you joined this call tonight. So I'll give everyone a minute to go ahead and do that now before we get started. I'm going to be facilitating tonight's call alongside my colleague, Flonia. Flonia, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Flonia. I'm Run for Something's community manager. I'm so excited to be here with all of you tonight.
Awesome. The chat is moving fast, but I'm seeing some really great stories. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourself, sharing what's motivating you to be here. So we know that everyone here tonight sees what is happening in our country. Right-wing extremists are attacking our freedoms and our communities. They're gutting our healthcare, violating our basic rights, and they're targeting anyone who doesn't fit their narrow vision of what America should look like. And we're watching too many of our so-called leaders stand by, or worse, lead the charge. We need something different. We need bold, young progressives like you all on tonight's call who are rooted in their communities and ready to fight for real transformative change. And that is why Run for Something exists. So over the last 8 years, since Run for Something started, more than 1,500 Run for Something candidates have been elected in nearly every state. They've won real victories for their communities: paid leave, free school meals for kids, lowering the cost of insulin. Because when we lead, when young people lead, and we're not afraid to take on the status quo, we deliver for our communities and for working families and not billionaires and corporations. And momentum is on our side. So just take a look at what happened in New York City a few weeks ago. It's very exciting. Post in the chat if you're fired up about Zohran. I know we all are. This is a really incredible victory. And it was a grassroots movement of people, of New Yorkers, of young people, of working people who made this happen. Zohran's victory shows that young people are ready to take the reins. The current leadership that has failed us time and time again, they're the same people that tell us to wait our turn. We're not listening to that anymore. We're running and we're winning. And when one of us steps up, we all step up to help that candidate win. They did it for Zohran in New York City, and if you were one of them, post in the chat. What an exciting time. So since the New York City primary, nearly 10,000 people have signed up with Run for Something. New people. This is the biggest surge in our history as an organization. And this is a movement of young people. This is a really dark time for our country. So we're really grateful for you to be here. This is a movement, and Run for Something is here to help you take your place in it. So with that, I think that we have a very special guest here to come and address us before we kick off our call. Let's see. Senator Sanders, one moment while we get you all set up. All right, you're live.
Okay, hello everybody, and thank you very much for being on the call tonight. Earlier this year, we issued a call for progressives all across this country to run for office because I think never before in the modern history of our country have we needed strong progressive candidates all over the place. And that means from school board to city council, to state legislature, to the United States Congress. We need strong progressive candidates. And I'm happy to tell you that the response we received from that request was really quite extraordinary. Over 7,000 people from virtually every state in the country have expressed interest in running for office, including many of you on the call tonight. And the reason that we need you to be involved is we need voices out there. We need elected officials out there who are prepared to stand up for working class people and take on the billionaires and the special interests who today have so much economic and political power. And let me tell you something, if you're creative, you can do a lot, no matter what position you have. So I'm excited about the number of people who are interested in running. Let me just tell you a little story, a personal story. When I first ran for office way back when, you know what percentage of the vote I got? 2%. I ran again. You know what I got? 1%. Ran again. Got 4%. Ran again. I got 6%. But then, you know what? I ended up winning. I won an election to be mayor of Burlington, Vermont, and I won it by 10 votes. 10 votes. And we won it, by the way, not because we had a lot of money, we had no money. We won it because we put together a strong grassroots movement of all segments of our city. Low-income people, police officers, environmentalists, women's groups, you name the group, they came in. And in fact, when I became mayor and I was reelected 3 times, we pretty much kept our word, our faith, the faith that people had us in opening up City Hall to all people and fighting for their needs. But the point that I want to make is that when I won, and I know many of you are worried, you're saying, oh my God, I don't have all this experience. I don't have a PhD in economics. I'm not haven't run for office before. You can learn. When I won to be mayor of Burlington, I had gone to one city council meeting in my life, and it was so boring, I actually fell asleep, to be honest with you. So I knew very little. But what you do is when you bring people together and you start looking at the issues, you're smart enough to figure them out. And because you're kind of outside the mainstream, you can take an approach that many of the mainstream politicians ignore. They ignore often the most important issues. And you coming from the outside will have a better sense of reality, what people's lives are like, than many of the quote unquote experienced leaders. So I guess the message that I leave you with tonight is you don't have to have years and years of experience. You don't have to know everything about education or economics or housing or healthcare or whatever. All you have to have is a willingness to learn, to interact with people who know more than you do, to bring people together and try to solve the issues facing your community. So today, again, more than ever, we need that kind of energy at the grassroots level. So I am just delighted that so many thousands of people are prepared to run from school board to Congress. That is a great thing. So best of luck to everybody, and we'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Senator Sanders, for being here. Wow, folks, this is a really exciting call, and we're going to get into it. So with that, let's get started. So on tonight's call, you are going to be introduced to Run for Something's all-new support network for candidates and for those of you exploring a run for office. You're going to leave tonight with very clear next steps and actions so you can hit the ground running tonight. Here's what we're going to cover. First, we're going to give you an overview of this new program, which includes training, mentorship, and a whole network of community members. Then we'll help you figure out which of our 2 training tracks is right for you. We're going to highlight how you can get personal one-on-one support from Run for Something mentors and how you can access your online community of peers. And at the end of the call, we are going to have a Q&A featuring an incredible Run for Something alumni who's going to answer your questions about what it is like to run for office. So if you have any questions that come up as we go through this call, post them in the Q&A for our alumni guest. Like I said earlier, there are hundreds of people, thousands of people on this call tonight, and we're not going to be able to get to everyone's questions, but we're going to do our best. And anything that we don't get to, please email us at campaigns@runforsomething.net, or better yet, post your question in the online community that you're going to be invited to very shortly. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Amanda Littman, Run for Something's president and co-founder.
Thank you, Emily, Flonia, the entire Run for Something team. I hope everyone is feeling as fired up as I am. Senator Sanders' speech talking about how important it is to run and sometimes lose in order to lay the groundwork to run and win and then do such meaningful things for your community. Like, that's exactly what I hope you all take away from this call tonight. The community that you're going to be joining as part of that Emily, Flonia, and the rest of the Run for Something team have been building over the last 6 months is here to help you connect both with each other and with the resources you need to run a great, winning, grassroots-driven campaign, whether you're going to run this year in 2026 or you're thinking about it maybe 2, 3, or 5 years down the road. As Senator Sanders said, you don't need to be an expert in any of this. What you need to do is care about the problems in your community, be willing to listen, be willing to learn, and be ready to do the work. We are here to help you with everything else. We will walk you through the logistics. We will walk you through the mechanics of how to set up a campaign. We will work with you to make sure that you have the skills you need to be yourself, your best self, in service of your community. You know, when my co-founder Ross Morales-Raqueta and I started Run for Something over 8 years ago on Trump's first inauguration day, we thought it would be really small. We thought we'd get 100 people in the first year. When we had 1,000 people sign up in the first week, our minds were blown. We're like, this is going to be incredible. I would not have believed that 8.5 years later, we've had more people sign up since the November election than we did in the first 3 years of Trump's first term. And my guess is by September, we will exceed the number of signups in his entire first term as president. Entire first term. This is a movement of young people who are looking around and saying, I am not settling for these old leaders who do not understand what it's like to live in these communities, who do not understand the urgency of the crisis we're in, who do not understand the problems that we face, and are not ready to fight for us. It is mind-blowing and so inspiring to see so many people raise their hands and say, you know what, if they're not going to fight for me, I'm going to fight for me. One of the things I'm so excited about with the Run for Something community, which again, there are links in the chat for you to join. I see those of you asking about Discords or whatever. This is your community space. This is the space for you to connect with other folks. Run for Something community, the runforsomething.net/community is where you go. These resources are available to you regardless of how old you are or what office you might be running for. There are parts of our program that are limited both by age and by level of office, but our community space is open to everyone who shares our values and who's ready to get to work to make a difference. We are so excited you are here. We are so excited for you to go through these trainings, to learn more about how to run, to really connect with the incredible network of mentors, volunteers, alumni who are there to help you get through this, to connect to each other. And we're going to be dropping in throughout the next weeks, months, and hopefully years with more resources, more materials, more ways that we can help you, more ways we can plug you in. This is just the beginning of this such an exciting community. And much like your campaigns, it's going to be one that we're going to be able to build together. Thank you for stepping up to run. We are going to make sure you win. Emily, Flonia, back to you. Let's get started learning how we're going to learn together.
Thank you so much, Amanda. We are going to jump in now and get into it. So tonight's the launch of our brand new support system. It's for those of you who are exploring running for office, or looking to learn how to successfully launch your campaign, our community, our new network of support is built around 3 core pillars. The first is community. You are going to be joining a vibrant online community where you can connect with your peers, everyone on tonight's call, and many, many thousands of other future candidates. You're going to be able to ask questions, celebrate your progress, and access the Run for Something network of staff and volunteers and mentors. This is a really important space for us to keep the energy that we're seeing here tonight going for the long term. The second pillar is training. So when you join this online community, which you can sign up now at runforsomething.net/community, you are going to get access to self-paced online module trainings tailored to where you are in your journey. So you have 2 tracks. We're going to talk to you about those 2 tracks and help you choose the one that's right for you, whether you're just exploring becoming a candidate or you're ready to run. The third pillar of support is mentorship. So as you go through either of these 2 training tracks, you will be matched with experienced mentors. These are campaign professionals, former candidates, organizers who have been through it and want to help you succeed. Mentors will have a series of one-on-one calls with you to talk through questions you have and workshop different aspects of your plan, whether that's a plan to build leadership and deepen your ties to your community ahead of a future run, or if you've decided to run, they'll help you with a plan to set up your campaign for success. So I'm going to pass it now to my colleague Flonia to share about our new online community.
Thank you so much, Emily. So we're going to start talking about Run for Something's new online community. This is the heart of our new support system for future candidates like you. This is your space to stay connected with Run for Something, connect with all of your peers who are also exploring a run, get supported every step of the way. Inside this community, you'll find a library of trainings, tools, and templates to help you prepare. And even more importantly, you'll find real people who are ready to support you. That includes mentors, Run for Something staff, volunteers, and other prospective candidates across the country. You can ask questions, get feedback, share wins and frustrations, and build relationships with people who really get what this journey is like. To join the Run for Something community, head to runforsomething.net/community. We're going to drop that link in the chat. And we're also going to turn the chat off for a moment so that we can make sure that that link is easy to find for all of you. So go ahead, click on that link right now and sign up if you haven't already. We're going to give everybody a moment to do so. So the chat has been paused, and if you click on the link that I just posted in the webinar chat, you can sign up, you'll be able to start your training track, you can post an intro, and start engaging right away with the Run for Something community. If you have clicked on the training track and you've submitted the form, you'll be able to see a page where you can create your account in the community. Okay. So as you're creating your account, please feel free to come on back to Zoom. Make sure that you bookmark this page. You can always log in by going to community.runforsomething.net. And we're going to actually show you what the community looks like. When you first log in, this is what you'll see. It's a community overview page. This page gives you step-by-step guidance on navigating the platform and getting started. You'll also see a directory of all of the different spaces in the community and what you can use them for. When you log in, you'll see this onboarding checklist. It pops up on the right-hand side of your screen. Make sure you complete that checklist. It'll walk you through setting up your profile and getting fully plugged in. Setting up your profile is something that we really recommend. It's especially important so that we can get to know each other and offer you the right type of support. A key part of your profile is selecting your candidate stage. It is really important to keep updated. This is how we tailor the resources and guidance that you receive. Just as an example, if you're currently exploring a run, but a few weeks from now, you decide you're actually going to go for it and run for office, please make sure to update your candidate stage from exploring running to decided to run. Next, we have the candidate chat space. This is where you're going to stay connected after the Zoom call and this chat ends tonight. You can ask questions, you can share wins and challenges with each other. There is so much great energy. I can barely keep up with the chat earlier tonight. So we want to make sure that that keeps going, that we create this community. And if you ever have any questions, this is the place to ask them. One important thing that I'll mention is that you can download Mighty Networks, the platform where all of this community is hosted, on your phone. You can find it in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. If you just search for Mighty Networks, you can download that app and log into your account. It will make it so much easier to stay in the loop and not miss any important updates. The Run for Something volunteers and mentors who will be supporting you through this journey will be reaching out to you through this app to schedule one-on-one calls. And if you don't have it downloaded or you don't have push notifications turned on, you might miss one of those messages. So while you're in the app, we recommend that you adjust your notification settings. By default, the platform sends you sort of daily digest emails. So if you'd rather not receive those, you can turn them off in the settings. But we do strongly recommend that you turn on notifications for posts and messages that you want to stay on top of, especially direct messages from Run for Something staff, mentors, and volunteers. And finally, just to get the most out of this community, you're going to want to choose your training track. Under the trainings tab, there's a space called Choose Your Trainings Track. And this is where you'll decide whether you're a future candidate or a ready to run candidate based on where you are in your journey. So we're going to talk about those trainings now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Flonia. So like Flonia said, when you're in the online community, you'll have access to 2 training tracks, and you're going to pick the one that best meets you where you are. So if you're still figuring things out, you're thinking about running maybe someday, and you want to explore your values and your leadership, you want to learn what running for office is like, or if you're running in the distant future in like more than 2 years, the Future Candidates track is right for you. If you're planning to run soon, you know what office you're running for, you know when you're running in the next 1 to 2 years, you should join the Ready to Run track. That track will walk you through everything you need to build a real successful campaign: field, fundraising, messaging, launch planning. So right now we're going to dig a little deeper into the 2 training tracks, and then we're going to ask you to choose which one you're going to commit to. So if you are in the early stages of thinking about running, maybe the idea just started to form, or maybe you've been toying with it for a while, but you haven't taken the leap, the Future Candidates track is right for you. The training is designed to help you get grounded in your values, your leadership, and your why. You're going to reflect on your lived experience, build your public profile, start showing up in your community, and figure out what kind of office might be the best fit for you. Like Senator Sanders said, you don't need a full resume of political experience. You don't need to be a policy wonk or have all of the answers. But in order to be a strong leader who voters can trust, you do need to have a track record of serving your community. And that can take a lot of different shapes and forms. It could be organizing a tenants union, starting or supporting a mutual aid network, volunteering with a local group. You're going to be the strongest candidate possible when you've been active in your community. You're showing up to community meetings. You're actively participating in coalitions and grassroots efforts. You're supporting groups and leaders who are already doing important work, and you're proactively offering your help. You want to earn people's trust with your actions. Before you run for office, it's important that lots of people know you and like you in your community. So one way to think about it is, if you were to host an event like a house party, how many people would show up? Can you get 50 people to a house party? That's your base and your strong starting point. So this training will help you build that plan to become that leader and have that track record that you need to be a successful candidate, to grow your public profile and your network so that you can become ready to run. So let's take a look at an example of a strong leader with ties to her community. This is Aisha Chugtai, one of Run for Something's incredible alumni. We're going to watch a video from her for an example of what a strong personal story looks like.
Beneath all hardship in this city and in this world, there is one truth. We have enough. There is more than enough to go around for all of us to have what we need to thrive. Who gets left behind is and has always been a choice. I know that too well. My family is one of the millions in this country fighting to keep their heads above water. My name is Aisha Chugtai. I'm a renter, community organizer, union activist, first-generation immigrant, and Muslim American, and I'm running for the Minneapolis City Council in Ward 10. We can build a community where there is housing for all, where everyone feels safe, and where our economy puts working people first. We deserve a leader who knows Minneapolis can be that place and is willing to fight for it. Let's build a community where we can thrive together.
All right, so that's a wonderful example. Aisha introduces herself, tells you why she wants to run. She meets the moment and centers her community. She's a union activist, a community organizer. Before running, she put in the work to fight for her community. So if you want to be a candidate like her, the Future Candidates track will help you do that. It'll help you develop a story like that. It'll help you build that leadership that you want to have as an elected official or as a candidate. All right. So I'm going to pass it back to Flonia to talk about our second training track, Ready to Run.
Yeah, for those of you who are further along, maybe you've decided to run or you're actively preparing for a launch for your campaign, we built out the Ready to Run training track. This track is focused on all of the practical steps that you need to take to actually get on the ballot, build a winning campaign, and stay grounded in your purpose as a candidate. This training will focus on 4 core areas. The first is storytelling. You'll need to clearly and powerfully communicate why you're running. What change do you want to make, and why are you the one to lead that change? From your stump speech to your fundraising emails, you will need a strong personal story. Second is defining your vote goal. That means researching how many votes you'll need to win and then making a plan to reach those voters. This is what turns your campaign from an idea into a strategy. Third is fundraising. Based on your vote goal and your local context, you'll need to identify how much money you need to raise and begin building the skills and the systems and the confidence to bring in those dollars from people who believe in you. And finally, it's time to launch. That means preparing to file the paperwork, meeting deadlines, and officially getting on the ballot, all while building energy and momentum around your candidacy. The Ready to Run training track is here to help you tackle each of these 4 core parts with confidence. The Ready to Run course is primarily comprised of trainings from our partners at the National Democratic Training Committee, the NDTC. NDTC has a massive and robust library of trainings that will help you consider the logistics of filing, announcing your campaign, complying with campaign finance rules, and finding your vote goal, making a fundraising plan, and also the strategy for actually contacting your voters. On this screen, you'll see all of the NDTC courses that make up the Ready to Run training. Now, one of the most important parts of the Run for Something support network is talking about how you're going to get support as you go through all of these trainings. And as you go through one of your 2 training tracks, You'll receive access to one-on-one mentorship from an experienced campaign professional. Run for Something alumni, organizers, strategists. These are all people who have been in your shoes. They know what it's like to ask, am I actually ready to run? Or they wonder how to build a fundraising plan or to figure out where to start. The way that the mentorship program works is that through your training course, you will see these different pre-mentorship activities. These are activities that will help you reflect on what you've learned and ask for support on anything that you might be stuck or struggling with. For example, if you're on the ready to run track and you finish the section on setting your fundraising goal, you will then submit a pre-mentorship activity with your fundraising goal and the questions you have for your mentor. Then, after you've submitted your activity, we will match you with a mentor who has expertise based on the track and your goals. The mentor will reach out to you and schedule a 30-minute to an hour call. You'll meet one-on-one over Zoom or Google Meet or on the phone, and you'll get support tailored to your journey. This is not just one call. You'll have a chance to schedule multiple check-ins at different key moments through the program. You'll also have access to an Ask a Mentor forum in our community, where you can drop a question anytime and hear back from mentors and staff. This kind of support for candidates is rare. Most first-time candidates don't get this level of attention and support, but you do, because we believe in you, and you deserve it. And so Run for Something mentors, all of our volunteers who are supporting you in this journey, are supporting candidates under the age of 40. If you are over the age of 40, you will still have access to the Run for Something community, the training tracks, but you'll be connecting with Arena mentors. We will share the link to sign up with Arena mentors in the chat right now. I also just want to take a moment to shout out our network of mentors, the people who have stepped up for Run for Something. You're going to meet all of these wonderful mentors once you join Mighty Networks. These are incredible people, campaign pros, Run for Something alumni and former candidates, movement builders and specialists and strategists. These are the folks who will speak to you, teach you, and they are so eager to support you. So please take advantage of all of these incredible time and resources that they are giving you. Here are the different types of mentorship calls you'll have access to when you're going through the training program. For future candidates, you'll focus on exploring your personal motivations and growing in your civic leadership. And for ready to run candidates, you'll work through the 4 core aspects of a successful campaign. Back to Emily.
Thank you, Flonia. Okay, so now that you've heard more about the 2 training tracks and the mentorship available to you and the community, we are going to ask you to make a commitment to choose a training track and to get started this week, or better yet, tonight. And we're not going to lie to you. You saw the number of courses and all of the detail that goes into this. You're going to have to put in real work and really get into the weeds and into the details. It's not going to be, quick or necessarily easy, but we do believe that you will have fun doing it along the way. And most importantly, this is really what this moment demands of us. And there's a lot at stake, and we need leaders like you to step up. We believe in you. Run for Something believes in you. We are here with you 100% every step of the way. So if you are fired up and ready, post in the chat. Who's gonna sign up for a course? So we're gonna launch a poll right now where you get to commit on this call tonight to start your journey with Run for Something. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people committing right now as I speak. Over 500, now it's 600 of you have committed to a track. We have about 51% future candidates, 30% ready to run. This is amazing. Amazing, amazing. Whatever you choose, your next step is to go into the community platform and officially enroll in that track. So I'll show you on my screen how to do that right now. You go to this Choose Your Training Track tab, and you can just click on whichever one you want, and it'll put you into the training. So here I choose Ready to Run. You got some confetti. You can post about it in our celebrations channel. And then here's what the course looks like. So you'll go through, get started, and we can't wait for you to join us and to be a part of this community and this program. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone that has stepped up tonight. Again, just shout out the link, runforsomething.net/community. All right. We love seeing so many of you make your commitment tonight. Whether you're exploring or preparing, you're now on your path forward with Run for Something. So here are your next steps before we hand it over to our partner and our alumni. Go into the community, runforsomething.net/community, complete your profile, make sure to keep your candidate stage up to date, introduce yourself in the candidate chat, start your training course, set a goal for yourself. When are you going to finish that first module and submit your pre-mentor activity and start connecting with a Run for Something mentor? The sooner the better. And submit your first pre-mentor activity, post in the candidate chat if you need any help. We are here for you. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Flonia.
So many of you here tonight will be joining one of our 2 training tracks. But if you are already running for office, your next step is to apply for the Run for Something endorsement. Our endorsed candidates receive a deeper level of support and incredible benefits, including personalized coaching from our amazing states team and a network of peers of people who are currently running for office. So if you are a candidate who is currently running for office, your next step, you can still join the Run for Something community, but please apply for the Run for Something endorsement. And we're going to post that link in the chat as well. Now, we're going to move on and we're going to meet one of our partners. I'm going to pass it to Ali McGrath, NDTC, National Democratic Training Committee's Director of Live Training and Learner Engagement.
Hello, thank you, Flonia. I'm here. You've heard a bit about the National Democratic Training Committee already tonight, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet and want to make sure that thank you to Susan for just putting our link in the chat. We are NDTC. We are one of the partner orgs that you have heard a lot about. I saw someone in the chat say the 40-year-old cutoff is making them feel old. Have no fear. We will train you regardless. And it sounds like there are plenty of resources to help you to sign up for that arena. Just a quick shout out to Flonia. She was my intern on my very first campaign. And then I went on to manage a race where the candidate I worked for was a Run for Something endorsed candidate. So just to tell you how small the world is and how deep our connections and friendships go with Run for Something, NDTC is so happy to be a partner and a training partner for Run for Something and for y'all. So as Flonia said, I'm the director of live training, and that means that I manage all of our synchronous training programs, and we run about 8 to 10 trainings each week where we have live trainers that can answer your questions in real time. No matter how old you are, we will answer your questions. Don't worry, I see you in the chat. And then we also have all the courses that folks have been mentioning. So we have over 100 asynchronous courses. You can take those 24/7 if you're up in the middle of the night feeling stressed about your campaign. Go log in, make a free account. Again, all of our trainings are completely free and you can take them whenever it suits you. It will require work and the trainings will hopefully make it easier for you. I saw someone else say that their election is in 21 days. Don't wait. We say that you have limited time, money, and people on your campaigns. So sign up, take a course. We have some Get Out the Vote courses that will hopefully help you get your campaign across the finish line. Last year, NDTC is proud to say that 1 in 7 candidates on the ballot were NDTC trained candidates, and we hope to see that number keep growing. I also just wanted to take a minute and say thank you. Thank you for continuing the work that needs to happen to move our country forward, to make a difference in your community. There are so many things you could be doing on a Tuesday night in the summer. So choosing to be on this call and choosing to run for office is no small feat. And I hope you feel so proud of yourself. And we're here at NDTC, the National Democratic Training Committee, to make it easier for you. So again, we provide all of the free trainings. We have a lot of the same acronyms as the DNC, but we are not the DNC. So please make a free account, and we would be so honored to help you with your campaign.
Thank you so much, Allie. All right. NDTC is amazing. Their trainings are incredible. So we're really happy to partner with them, and do sign up with them and start accessing their trainings. All right. So now it is time for our Q&A with our incredible Run for Something alumni. We are joined by Christina Jones. Christina is a member of the Raleigh City Council in North Carolina. She's an incredible Run for Something alumni, and I'm going to pass it to Christina to introduce herself. And any questions for Christina, please post them in the Q&A. We're going to do a Q&A soon.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. My name, as you said, is Christina Jones. I'm a two-time alumni with Run for Something. I am one of those that just turned 40, so I'm not eligible in the future, but this is the perfect segue, because as I have been in office for a very short time, only since 2022, I recognize that my role is not to be the actual change maker. I'm here to help you guys make sure that you can be those change makers. And it's difficult. There's a whole mentality that we're trying to shift and make it more progressive and make it more for the people. And so I love where I am, what my role is, and to move into this mentor role to make sure that you guys have the confidence and the resources that you need in order to move us to the more progressive track is really, I take that as an honor. So I'm excited to be here. I want to tell you a little bit about my story and then open up for questions, because I'm sure you have a ton. Well, I grew up in Orlando, Florida, and my background is in theater. So when I graduated college, I graduated with the Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Stage Management, which you think that doesn't really make sense for politics, but it totally does. And it's taken me many, many years to get to that, to understanding how those coincide. But I went into theater. I left. I became a restaurant manager. So I spent 10 years in the restaurant industry, managing restaurants and catering companies. And then COVID happened. And when COVID happened, I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do with what would I do? And I had to think back, because I'm going to take you back to when I first got introduced to this world of politics. And it's right where you are right now, because in the 2016 election, I was devastated, as I'm sure many on this call were. And I had an infant and a toddler at the time. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I can't be president tomorrow. But you know what I can do? I can learn about my city. And so I delved in deep starting in 2016. And I looked and I said, okay, Raleigh, what do you have? And they had these classes that were free of charge. And so I got to take these free classes that taught me about my city, taught me. Another one was called Citizens Leadership Academy. And I was able to take those classes and go, wow, maybe this is something I'm actually interested in. And so what that spawned on, everything is about relationship and networking. And that introduced me to another big organization called Citizens Advisory Councils. And that was a network of community members who really just wanted to learn about their government. And then when we get back to that 2020, after I lost my job during COVID, I said, what am I going to do? And I was like, you know what? I've got time to continue learning. And I became the chair of that organization. We had 18 different units throughout the city. And at that time, my city council then cut us off and they eliminated our group after 40 years of being an organization. And that hurt my soul. I was like, wait a minute, why? Why don't you want to hear from us? That's a city government. And so I dug deeper and I said, I'm going to join my parks board. I'm going to be on a commission. I'm going to be on a task force, because I want to understand the why. And we're doing all of this virtually, and it's getting all confusing because COVID is COVIDing. And And then I said, you know what? I need to be there. I need to be in front of them. And so I committed to showing up to every city council meeting and making my voice heard and asking the questions, why did you eliminate us? What is this? What is that? And I ended up going 44 times to city council before I was elected. And it was really about spreading that information. So I get on council in 2022. I'm baffled because the gentleman I was running against was really, really rich. And he had raised $220,000 for a city council race, which your girl did not. Your girl raised $20,000. And I was like, well, that's it. That's it. But speaking to what I've heard in this meeting, creating those networks and introducing myself to the community to say, hey, we're going to walk this path together, helped me get a win. And mind you, it was only a 760 vote win. So not as impactful or as impressive as Senator Sanders and his 10 votes, but 760 votes. And I got to be in the position. That's just the fun part. Some may say it's fun, some it's really stressful. But when you get into office, then the work and all of the research that I had done, all the community meetings that I'd done before had helped me be ready for that moment. Because when we got to that moment, thankfully, due to the classes I had taken, I was already familiar with all of the department heads. They already knew who I was. And so it was cultivating that relationship. And I said, you know what? I'm a counselor now. Now I can ask for things. And so I met with every single department for 4 hours and had conversations of where were you, 5 years ago, where is your goal to the future? And the big question that every department loved that I asked was, how can I best amplify your voice when I sit at the dais? Because this role is a balance. Yes, I am advocating and I'm representing residents, but at the same time, I'm representing staff. And I have to be able to make sure that both sides understand what's going on in my mind for those big decisions. And so we go through that initial term, and it's exciting. And then we have some really big things because it's not just, oh, am I going to put a stop sign here? Am I going to do that? We had the community on October 7th, 2023, after we all know the horrible day that was, but we had the community screaming for a ceasefire. And so they came and people told us, oh, this isn't a city council issue. And I vehemently disagree with that. I think anything that's important to the city should be amplified. And there were two of us on council who pushed for having just a conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what a ceasefire would mean. And while I know it's not going to stop anything, it will show that we're in community. And that was a battle within our community. And we ended up putting the ceasefire for a vote, but it didn't win. It was a 4-4. It was evenly split. And you think that every vote, okay, that vote's done. And it wasn't, because then the election came up last year, and that for the two of us who championed that ceasefire resolution, it was a very difficult election for us. And it made us all question, okay, wait a minute. How do I do this? How do I live in community? And understanding that it's not always going to be pretty. There are going to be tough conversations. There are going to be tough decisions to be made. And how do you stand in your truth while still being respectful, while still being there for everyone in the community? And we're still working on that. So when you look at this and you look at what am I going to do, or do I want to run, I want you to look past the pageantry of the election, because that it's its own battle for sure. But when you get past that and you get into the work, I like to center everything in that education. Teaching. If I can teach you something, if I can say to the community, let me teach you where to find the resources so you don't need me, that's been such an overwhelming response. So we get to this the last election, and it was difficult. My opponent went after me for the decisions and then the votes that I had made, and I was terrified because again he had $180,000 and your girl had, I think, like 20, again maybe 25, and I was like, all right, how am I going to make it? I didn't think I was going to win. I was like, money is gonna beat us out. And then at the end of the day, after the election was over, I had won by 1,500 votes, which Now, mind you, those are razor thin margins. It's like 51% to 48%. So I'm not saying that I had a landslide victory, but a win is a win. And when I look at those numbers increasing, I tell myself, then my message is getting to the community. They are hearing that I want to help educate you. I'm showing up in my monthly book clubs, in my monthly community meetings, I have a monthly newsletter that I send out so that everyone who's interested in learning has an opportunity to be taught. And I find my job is to inspire others to do and be part of this journey. And so that's what I'm looking for, is that spark. And it's my job to find out, wait, are you interested in stormwater? Are you interested in community engagement? Are you interested in the fire department? I don't know. But once I find that and I can make that connection for you, now we're a team. And I say, look, you go find all that stuff out. Let me put you on a board or commission. And then when you find something out, come tell me about it, because I'm not going to know everything. You entering this role, and I hope all of you win every race that you go for, but that's not the end. That's just the beginning. And it can be really overwhelming at times. But when you sit back and you realize the network and the community that you've created, it makes everything worth it, and it makes everything exciting. Every conversation, every coffee with my community, my constituents, it's just an exciting time to say, what can we do together? So I'm so proud of everyone here. I'm so proud that you want to take that step, because we need you desperately. And your voice, the youth voice that's coming into this, is so desperately needed. So please don't let all of this overwhelm you. It is possible to do it with a little bit of money, but a lot of heart and a lot of engagement. It is possible to learn all of these things. I didn't realize I'd be reading this much, but you're going to read. You're going to read, and be ready for that. But most importantly, I want you to be the ear for the community. I have had to learn to listen more than I speak, which is really hard because I like to talk. But when you center your community in your decisions, and you are able to explain, whether or not they agree with you is not the bellwether of whether that's the right decision. But if I can justify and I can make people understand, then we may not agree on everything, but at least they know that my intention is to have their best heart and mind. So thank you. I'm so excited to be part of this mentor program, and I can't wait to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina. Wow, you are getting so much support in the chat, and we have so many great questions for you coming in. So one of the big questions that we keep getting is, how did you deal with any imposter syndrome? Did you feel any imposter syndrome when you started running, and how did you overcome that?
Y'all, I still feel that way. Like, that never goes away. Don't let that scare you, because I like to own the fact that I'm going to screw up, I'm going to mess up, and I'm still going to keep going, and the world's still going to keep spinning. So I still experience imposter syndrome all the time, and I have to pep talk myself to say, no, Christina, look at what you've accomplished. But know that we all go through that, and it's really, how do we talk ourselves? And that's what we're here for, to help you get over that, because it's difficult.
Yeah, totally. So we have some folks asking about the impact that you can make at the local level, like at the city council level. And, we see on the news a lot about the Senate and Congress and federal level. What have you experienced in terms of the impact you can make on the city council?
They're definitely different. I like to explain to people when they say, Christina, are you going to go for higher office? And I'm like, whoo, I represent 100,000 people. And when I go for higher, the higher you go outside of city, it becomes more theoretical. And so city council is your most tangible form of government, meaning that if you call me and you say, hey, I've got this tree that after the storm fell into the right of way, right in front of my house, I can actually help you get that removed really, really quickly. So whether or not you're running for a local office, being in touch with your local politicians is the easiest way and the fastest way to get to any level of government in the future.
Awesome. Okay, so one of the biggest things that we hear from candidates and from people exploring to run for office is, how do I balance having a full-time or a part-time job while campaigning, or in some cases being an elected official? Do you have any advice to share? on that front?
Oh, gracious. That's something that balance is how do you balance your family? How do you balance, but specifically work? I am blessed to, my husband is able to help support us while I'm on this journey because a lot of, especially city council roles, aren't even full-time jobs. Like mine is a part-time position. We get paid $32,000 a year. And so I completely understand the strain of needing a job during that. I know on our level, we have increased the salary from 17,000 to this 33,000, and we are discussing with the community, hey, we're almost a city of 500,000 people. Like, at what point do you want a full-time council? And so I have to be able to sell it to the voters, and make sure they understand that first. And so hopefully in the future we can fix that to make it more attainable for people. But I completely understand the concern of having a part-time or a full-time job. I think I'm the only counselor on that doesn't have another job. I've made this my full-time job because I'm able to, but a lot of other counselors are balancing both family and work, and that is stressful for sure.
Totally. So you shared about how you were, really outraised by your opponent and you pulled off a victory. How do you approach fundraising? The 25K that you were able to raise, how'd you go about that? Did you have
Oh
any
my gosh.
making those asks?
That is not my best, clearly. My best strong point is fundraising because I have that same nerves. I know a lot of people on this call are going, how do I ask people for money? And I don't know that I have the best answer to that. I really worked within the community to build those bridges. I have some funders. I also refuse to take developer fundraising. So a lot, meaning that if they're building buildings and the people who are building the 40-story towers and stuff, I made it a point to refuse any of that money. So that also hindered my fundraising. So for me, I made it more about community impact. And I made sure that I was in every room that I could be in so people saw me because in my mind, I said, money is great, but your vote is better. And so my fundraising team probably won't appreciate me saying that because we all, we all need money and we do need to fundraise. But I tried to make it specific. Okay, I need signs, I need mailers, and I looked at what that cost, and that's what I fundraised for. So I didn't have extras, I didn't have an excess amount, and I just made sure to show up in every room.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna take one. I think we have time for one more question. Let's see. There's so many good ones. And folks, I know many of you have asked a question that we are not going to be able to get to on this call. That's why we have our community. So please post your questions in our community as well. Okay. For our last question, Christina, how did you and your family handle the public-facing nature of transitioning to a life in the political spotlight?
Oh, I have the best. I have an amazing family who jumped right into it. My kids have grown up. Like I said, they were one and an infant when we started this journey. So they know mommy's in a meeting. Sorry, mommy's here. And they come to the meetings and they know that mommy's going to be the last one to leave because she's going to talk to everybody. But they are supportive and it's really important just for your mental health and for the office to have that support system, whether it's your mom or your cousin or your family or your dog, because you're going to be gone a lot. You're going to be gone in a ton of meetings, and it doesn't matter if it's election season or not, because the point of the role, in my opinion, is to be there for the community, which means we need to be in it. So it does take a support network that can understand those and be there for you to support when needed.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christina, for taking the time to share your story and your insights with us and to be a part of this community. Folks, Christina is a mentor, so you may get to talk one-on-one with Christina, but you got to go through those training courses. You got to do the activities to get in touch with Christina or any of our mentors. Thank you, Christina. Let's share some appreciation in the chat, and we're going to close out.
Thank
So,
you.
all right, folks. If there's one thing that you take away from tonight's call is that Run for Something is here for you 100%. We're here for you every step of the way, and we are so excited to be on this journey with you. And please, if you have not already, sign up, runforsomething.net/community. Share that link with anyone you know who you think might want to run for office. Whether it doesn't matter how old you are or what level of office you want to run for, this community is for you, and we have incredible resources that we've worked really hard to put together. And we are really grateful for you engaging with them and going down this path with us. So we will see you in the community, runforsomething.net/community. Introduce yourself, and thank you for being here tonight. We'll see you there. Bye, folks.